special guest. We've got Jeff Thorpe, legendary guitar player from the band Vicious Rumors, started back in 1979, all the way from sunny California. Rock dude.
Yeah, they're a California band. They play the biggest rock festivals, metal festivals in the world, over in Europe particularly.
Absolutely.
And since they've been around for so long, longevity, I wanted to touch base on, because that's like, you know, you're in the vein of the Rolling Stones, you're in the vein of Aerosmith when you say longevity.
Judas Priest, Metallica.
So, you know, 70, it's a long time to be a well-known band. 79's been a long time for Jeff Thorpe as original guitar player and founding member of the band, who we're having on the show today.
Absolutely.
And he's just been in some amazing places in history when he needed to be with his band, and his stories are simply amazing. Some people may not know the band, but when we get done with our show today, you're going to be dumbfounded how good they are, where they've been, who they played with. You're going to say, really? You're going to be putting Vicious Rumors up there with the Iron Maidens, because that's where they're at. They earned it.
Oh, yeah.
They've been doing it far longer than most, and that's the whole key for me. I mean, longevity and the product that they put out is amazing. So, Jeff Thorpe's our guest today, lead guitarist of Vicious Rumors.
Absolutely. He's the founding member of the band. Let's bring Jeff Thorpe on the show right now. Let's welcome Jeff Thorpe of Vicious Rumors. Welcome to the Rockin' House, brother. I'm here with Rock Dude, another awesome episode of the Rockin' House. I got special guests today with me, Jeff Thorpe of Vicious Rumors. This band, I believe, has been started in 1979, Jeff was telling me. Jeff, it's so great to have you on our show. Welcome, brother.
Man, thank you so much, man. It's a real pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely, brother. Well, why don't we talk about that? Let's talk about you know, how you started Vicious Rumors, man. 1979, that's quite a length of time to be a band, man. So congratulations on that, brother.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
You know, I can't even believe it myself that this journey's been going on this long. But, you know, I grew up in Hawaii, and I loved surfing. That's all I wanted to do. And I went to visit my sister in L.A. and asked her just to take me to some clubs. You know, I don't care who's playing and what's going on. I just want to see some bands.
Nice.
And we picked 3 random nights and ended up seeing the Runaways with Joan Jett and Lita Ford.
Nice.
Quiet Riot with Randy Rhoads and Rudy Sarzo. And a little band from L.A. called Van Halen.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And man, I went back to Hawaii after thinking to myself that anytime you go out in Los Angeles, you see a Randy Rhoads or an Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
And it just ignited my career.
Nice.
Man, I moved to California in 1979. I made 1,000 business cards with Vicious Rumors on it, and I just went out and passed out cards. And, you know, back then, there was 5 to 7 nightclubs in San Francisco alone.
Wow.
That had live music and an audience to support it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's funny when you think back, like, I think all the bands at that time that are still going strong today, like Exodus, Death Angel, Vicious Rumors, Testament,
right,
you know,
right.
the Mighty Metallica, all that stuff. You know, none of us we just thought we were local bands in a local scene, and didn't really realize the whole world was going to look to the Bay Area at this time for, you know, this thrash and power metal movement. So it's a little bit about being at the right place and the right time. Really thankful that we were part of that, and just following a heavy metal dream that's now entering its 41st year. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. Jeff, that's an amazing story. I'll tell you what, we're going to come back and talk some more with Jeff Thorpe on this subject matter, on where things are going in the future with the new Celebration and Decay, I believe is the new CD, in just a minute. Vicious Rumors. Welcome back, my brother.
Great to be here, my friend. Great.
Awesome.
Great to be here.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, I think what I'd like to talk about now, we talked about in the first segment, how you started the band 79 and how that was an interesting story. Let's talk about your new album, you guys, I believe just released out, is the Celebration Decay, correct?
Absolutely. From the very beginning to the most recent.
Nice.
And I love it because, the band is constantly moving forward, and, the Celebration Decay album is something that I know Larry and I are as proud of this record as any of our classic albums.
Nice.
We just came together as a team really well on this album.
Awesome.
Especially with our two new guys, singer Nick Courtney and guitarist Gunnar DeGray.
Nice.
Just great additions to Vicious Rumors, and we had a real benefit this time around. We got together for the 30th anniversary of the Digital Dictator album.
Nice.
Last year. And we started off with a schedule of 20 shows and maybe 1 month. And
Wow.
that grew into 108 shows and a year and a half. So
Wow.
it was crazy. But it pushed the release back, and it took a little longer to make the record. But it had an incredible side effect of just bringing the chemistry of the band together before we make a record. And, in lineups in the past, we've always gotten together, worked on a record, recorded it, and then went on tour and
Right.
performed it. And it was incredible how the fact of doing all those shows together before going in the studio really made the band gel. And we're just so honored and happy that we've gotten so many great reviews and
Yeah.
chart entries, and we're getting such a great response on all the videos on YouTube. And it's just, the only thing is missing is going out and being on tour right now, but that's
Right.
just the way the world is. But
Yeah.
we're very thankful to all our fans, old and new, around the world.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely a fan of you guys. I love the music. It's amazing, and I'm sure the metalheads are loving it. And more power to the metal. You guys, being able to do that, that's amazing for metal fans all around. All right, man, we're going to come back again with Jeff George in just a minute. All right, I'm back with Jeff again from Vicious Rumors. And Jeff, let's talk about some of your influences and how you got started playing and being a young musician, playing guitar, to where you're at today.
Man, I grew up in Hawaii, as I mentioned, in the 70s.
Right.
In high school there. It was just like one of the greatest times of, you could imagine, like just kind of carefree thing going. And, I have two older sisters, so
Okay.
they were probably like my biggest influence, the music they were listening to. And So
Sure.
the stuff that really stood out to me, I'm old school, man. It was like Jimi Hendrix,
Nice.
Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath. They were like the first guys that I really, and then I started finding out about like Michael Schenker
Yeah.
and you know, Alex Lifeson and Rush, and,
Oh, yeah.
and started really loving two guitar bands like Priest,
Oh,
Maiden, and of course that was Maiden was a little bit later, but Scorpions and
Nice.
things like that.
Yep.
And those bands and the mystery behind those bands, because of course back then you couldn't just Google what they had for lunch.
No.
Every day. So I love the mystery of it, and you know, always dreamt of Vicious Rumors being a band that goes on and makes like 10 albums or more,
Yeah.
and establishes this long time thing. Like that's, and here we are 41 years later. This is our 13th studio album and our 17th album overall with live albums and
Amazing.
CDs. So
Congratulations,
yeah,
bro.
just honored to be part of the club. Thank you.
Absolutely. That is amazing, dude. All right, we're going to come back in a little bit. Jeff again.
We just have more breaking news that thermonuclear bombs of undetermined strength cannot be exploded.
All right, I'm back again with Jeff Thorpe of Vicious Rumors. Jeff, welcome back again, brother. And I believe I'd like to ask you, what are some of the most influential shows that you might have ever played, or should I say influential stories in the rock and roll history of Vicious Rumors? If you had to share one or two.
Sure. You know, as far as the shows go, I'll tell you what, in general, my feeling is the only bad show is the one you don't do. I'll say that right off the bat. But we've had some incredible highlights in our career. The Rockin Open Air Festival, the Bang Your Head Festival in Germany,
Nice.
Metal Fest in Czech Republic and Poland, and opening for Aerosmith and Judas Priest and Heaven and Hell.
Nice.
Doing our headlining tours, and even just some of the really small, sweaty nightclub gigs,
Right.
where we just had so much fun. Everyone's been just, you know, something to be thankful for. And as far as like some stories,
Yeah.
you know, well, a good one I think that people like to hear is about Yngwie Malmsteen.
Oh,
When he
yeah.
first got discovered, we were on Shrapnel Records, and Mike Varney, the president of Shrapnel Records, is the one who kind of discovered Yngwie.
Wow.
And he had played some recordings of him at his house. I was at his house visiting. We're listening to this, and I'm just like, oh my God, you know, like,
Wow.
this guy's a game changer. You know, he's just such an incredible guitarist, and we're blown away for sure. And a couple of weeks later, I'm at Prairie Sun Recording Studios where we recorded our first two albums. And Mike's like, hey, Jeff, remember Yngwie, the guitarist I played on? Of course. You know, he's like, hey, he's down at the guest house now. Why don't you say hello?
Wow.
And I went down, and we hung out and, like, struck up a friendship.
Nice.
Ended up hanging out with him for, like, about 3 days, talking guitars, and he was showing me some stuff, and I'd never played a guitar with a scalped neck before.
Nice.
I mean, this is like 88 or something, or 87.
Wow.
And just when Yngwie first got here, and so I was playing those crazy scalped guitars of
Yeah.
his, and then and then when it came time to him to do his first show at the old Waldorf in San Francisco with the group Steeler,
Nice.
He didn't have any amps with him, so he did his first show in America through all my Marshalls.
Wow.
And I was real proud of that, you know. And and it's funny. It's funny because he has this, you know, he kind of has a reputation of being kind of a hard guy or not friendly or something. And like, you know, I met him before when he first got here, and I'd have to say that every time I talked to him and saw him in life and in travels after that, he was always very gracious and cool.
Nice.
And I just have the best impression of him. And whenever I hear that he's, you know, this great guy, I just have to roll my eyes and go, well, that's not the way I remember it. But that's my Ingve story.
Wow, that's amazing.
Man, I got another one for you I think you're going to like.
Awesome.
We opened for Richie Blackmore in Rainbow.
Wow.
And, you know, that was like definitely like a childhood dream to, you know, to play with Richie Blackmore. He's such a hero, guitar hero. And the people from the venue came up and said, hey, listen, Jeff, from 4 o'clock on, you got to be out of the backstage because it's for Rainbow only then. And so I'm like, of course, no problem. And I told all my guys were out of there. And then I realized I left my bag back there. It's like 4:10. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I go back to grab my bag, and nobody's around. But Richie Blackmore and his wife walk into the dressing room.
Nice.
So I'm standing there, and like I'm getting these like butterflies in my stomach, turning into like a huge fan.
Right.
And you know, I just turn around and you know, I gotta say something to the guy. I just cannot walk out and not say anything.
Sure.
So I'm just, you know, the typical stuff, how honored I was to meet him, and you know, to get to open for him was kind of a dream come true. And then I just started thinking, like, God, I must sound so lame. And then I go, well, what I'm trying to say is, I just want to give you a hug. and just like you did just now, man, his wife and him, they kind of had a light smile, and they laughed a little bit. And in a split second in my mind, I'm thinking, like, this guy's he's not some egotistical maniac. He's a cool guy. Like, and so in that split second, I justified it, and I went in for the hug.
That's awesome.
So I went in to give him a hug, and as I'm putting my arms around him, I see it going incredibly badly. He got one arm up to kind of block me, but it was too late. I was already in on the hug. And I was like squeezing him, and I could see in his eyes, like his eyes are really big, and he was looking at me like really weird, and he kind of had an arm blocking me, and I'm like, this is not going well.
No.
And so I hugged him, and then I grabbed my bag, and I walked out, man, and like 2 minutes later, I heard just people yelling, and stuff was being thrown around the room. He wouldn't talk to anybody the rest of the night. He almost canceled the show.
What?
And totally proved to me that he is some kind of wacko. But he got so pissed that I went back there and gave him a hug.
Oh my God.
And the funny thing is that the guy from the venue came up to me and goes, Jeff, what did you do? And I just looked at him and paused, and I said, I gave him a hug.
That's an insane story, Jeff. Seriously, I don't think you can make that stuff up.
Oh, yeah, you cannot make this shit up, man.
Oh, my God, man. We're going to come back with Jeff. Unbelievable, man. In just a moment, guys. We're back with Jeff Thorpe again, and again, Jeff, we really appreciate you coming to the Rockin' House and being our guest today. It's really awesome having you, brother. And you guys are really bringing the metal, and you're bringing the metal. There's no question about it. I'll tell you what, man. Let's talk about this as we close out the show today. The sore subject of the scandemic. How are you handling this? I know you said, you know, everything's going to get back to normal and stuff, but, you know, our viewers are interested to know, you know, where you guys are with this and how you look forward to the future with Vicious Rumors continuing.
You know, we were recording the album. We started in November of last year and recorded till about February 26th.
Okay.
And, you know, we started hearing about this thing in January, February mostly. And, you know, at the time we felt like this is just something that's happening somewhere else, like in the past, thinking that, you know, no way it's going to, you know, going to turn into what it did turn into, a worldwide pandemic. Just, you know, it was something happening somewhere else. And we had some shows booked in March. We had 3 festivals and some club shows. We were just going to go for a quick trip.
Right.
And the news just kept getting worse and worse. And like,
Yeah.
we got right up to the end of February, we were finishing our album, where we were thinking, okay, well, we should be able to go and do these shows and get back. So we went ahead and went forward with it. And as we were in Europe, the curtain was just falling, man. We were there the second week in March, and when borders started closing, the worldwide pandemic was announced. We were actually on tour in Europe at the time. So,
Really? Wow.
and our friends in Testament, Exodus, and Death Angel, you know, as I'm sure you're aware of, got very sick. People in the band and crew on their tour, they were there longer than us. They started in January.
Wow.
So we were very lucky to escape from that without anyone getting the virus.
Thank God, brother.
But it's a tour that we'll never forget, for sure.
Yeah.
And even though it was a short one.
Sure.
You know, man, it's so hard to know what information is right and correct, because the information is always changing.
Yep.
You hear one thing one day and one thing another. So I think, you know, in the beginning it was, you know, very frightening, I think, for everybody.
Right.
And, you know, some people have been, you know, like our young guitar player, Gunnar, man, he's just been so positive, like just working on keyboards and his artwork, and like, you know, he's been really making good use of that lockdown time. And, and other people, like for me, like I was like a deer in the headlights for a few months. You know, it took me a while to kind of snap out of it. But, you know, luckily my family, my band, you know, people around me are not sick.
Thank God. Yeah,
and
that's good to hear.
I'm thankful for that. And
Right.
I'm so sorry for the people that lost loved ones and people that did get sick. And, you know, for us, we're just thankful to make this record and to have an album out. And I hope people that the album can be a distraction for people and just enjoy some heavy metal, celebrate it with us. And we just wanted to say that we really miss everyone, man. We had to cancel our U.S., European, and Japanese tours.
Wow.
And that's a real painful thing, because we live for this action. We love being on the road and meeting the bands we play with and all the great fans around the world. So it was a big blow, but the entertainment industry as a whole took such a hard hit that it's just the way it is.
Yes.
And, you know, my philosophy about the future of it is 100 years ago we had a pandemic for a couple of years. And granted, the population was a lot smaller, and there wasn't like super spreader events like there are today. But, you know, it ended in a couple of years. And what happened after that? We had the Roaring 20s, which was one of the biggest booms in American history.
Yep.
So my hopes for this whole situation is that same thing happens again. You know, we get through this in the next year and a half, and you know, maybe sooner, maybe a little longer, whatever it takes, and then let's have another Roaring 20s where we shine and prosper. And I'm just thinking for the best, and you know, prepared for the worst. And I just wish nothing but health and safety for all the great fans and heavy metal people out there, man. And thank you so much for supporting metal and having me on your show.
Awesome, brother. Well, you know what, Jeff? That was really awesome, and thank you so much for coming and being a guest on the Rockin' House. We really appreciated having you on, and I'm hoping to have you on in the near future again, when maybe new things start happening. Like you said, we can talk about those things into the future, that you guys keep it strong, keep it metal. I'm Marky Z with Rock Dude. Again, thank you, Jeff, for coming to the show. I'm out.